Okay, what I did here is I drilled and put 2 finish nails in here and glued this, and this is fastened in. It's screwed down from the bottom side. This is nailed up in here. What's going to happen is I'm going to glue and nail this in. Then over here I'm going to cut some plywood to go around here, and it'll be soft on the front, but it'll just kind of like come in right here, and the plywood will sit up on top of this, and it clears the end of this, and it clears the end of this. So in other words, it won't rub on it. There'll be a thin piece of plywood on here, but I got to fasten this on first. Okay, that's nailed in, and it's screwed in. Now what I got to do is I got to trace out this, and I got to cut this, but I got to get this to form in on these areas here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this thing over and draw a template on it and then cut around. But it's only going to be cut roughly in this area here because I need this to swing out. So it'll probably be cut around, and then maybe just a little bit here, overhang on the plywood, a little rounded here, because this area here needs to be soft. I need a surface here so we don't fall over. So as you can see there, it's pretty straight, not 100%, but straight enough for something like this. It's adding up in weight, but that's nothing new. Every time I build something, it weighs a ton anyways. Sorry for not giving you a step-by-step thing of everything I'm doing, but it's just the videos are becoming way too long. But just to give you an idea of how I'm doing it here, this plywood will go on the bottom like this, and I'll secure this over onto here. My concern is this has got to be bent in more, and I might have to trim down this plywood with the saber saw. I'm going to round this off just a little bit here, and I'll probably bring this in. Can't do it too much though, because I'm right up against this, and I really can't cut this. That would be very awkward. I could probably do it with a multi-purpose tool, but I haven't got time today. We got to go out, so yeah, that's got to come in. This has got to come in. So what we're going to do, we're going to take I just purposely left this wider here so that it wouldn't bind into this, but I can come up a little bit. Not so much on this one as this one. We'll come back on a video when I get that all cut as needed. Well, today I'm starting to do a little more work on this, and decided to come up with this form because this is the standing position, of course, and it's upside down naturally. So this is as far as he can go anyways because of the way I designed this. I should have used a U bracket, then left this open. But this is the metal I had on hand, and I wasn't going to go out and buy 1/8-inch steel and make 2 U brackets, which I probably should have done instead of using what I had on hand, but that's done already, so we're going to live with it. I've got this so that I got to slit this a little more. I slit this a little bit so I can bring this in a little so it's not straight-sided, but I can't bring it in much because I need clearance right here for this thing to move. This will be flexible in here, but I do need some clearance, and I can always stick something firm like a piece of metal or something down in the bottom here and then just fold it over and screw it to here. The same with this side. This side sticks out more, so I had to cut back this so that I can bring this in, and this will still have plenty of room to move around. And as you can see, I've got 2 supports here which will keep the top of this free. If you look right in here, it's not going to be touching. This will be the bottom, and then there'll be a little padding in here, and a lot of padding in here. And I'm going to have to cut this down so that these legs can go a little further down. But it really probably wouldn't even have to do that. I don't want a lot of strain on this because this is not very heavy metal here. You know, this is not real thick, so you don't want a lot of strain on that. So I might put some slices in this like I did here so it'll flex more, and there'll be padding in here, and the pants goes over the whole thing. After I establish the rear end and how I want everything to work in here, then I'll work on the knees, and I have a couple of ideas for the knees, but before we do that, we got to get this thing all straightened out how we want it, and then we'll put this on, and we're going to use 4 sheetrock screws, 1 inch or 1.25 inch sheetrock screws, and just screw it down onto these pieces here. All right. Well, I got this thing sliced and diced, and the metal's in here. Now I gotta screw this down. If I have to, there. Well, the way I got this, as you probably can see, he can't get his legs all the way up anyway, so it's only going to be a sitting situation. So there's no point in cutting another 1/4 inch out just to get this thing to go a few degrees more, because it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make any difference. So we can fasten it in there. We got the screws in there. I could use an electric screwdriver, but I just pre-drill the plywood and put the 1 inch sheetrock screws, and I only need 4 of them. I only need 2 in the back brace, 2 in the front brace. That's all. One here. Just in the plywood only. And one here. This way, if I ever have to take it off to do any service in here, it won't be an impossible job. I got some foam rubber I got given to me earlier in the year from an upholsterer in my area. It was really nice. He gave me some nice foam rubber, and so I can make a nice ass padding for that. But before we do that, we got to get this prepared here. The padding goes in here, but pants will cover a lot of it, but we do need some padding in there to make it look more natural. We don't want sharp edges showing through. I could put longer screws in there, but I ain't gonna go nowhere. Alright, now I'll show you over here. See, we're gonna bring this in. We'll put a couple screws in here. Or something small. It won't interfere with this, and this metal just keeps it from touching, and it still gives a straight up and down thing, and I don't like that. I wanted a little, in other words, I want this part here to be narrower than this. It is by a little bit, but not much. But the front will be foamed. This should be able to work through the foam without too much problem. have some foam in here, and we'll put a chunk in here and have a little bit here. As long as it don't interfere with this, it'll be fine. But before we even do that, we've got to bring these this part in here and probably tape it in or something, basically. We'll do that probably off camera and come back on, because this series is getting to be way too long. Alright, what I'm doing is I nailed some of this with little tiny brads into the plywood, which means this kind of makes this permanent if I want to take this off, but I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to slice this so we can fold this over onto it. And, you know, we're trying to get that tapered look, but we can't go in any more than this because we're going to be binding it to here. And I got supports in here, as I showed you earlier in the video. And so I can't bring it over, not without major work on that. So we're going to trim this down. Okay, now we got a piece of metal in here and over here so that this won't get pushed in. Alright, now we gotta put more in here. We gotta put another layer in here. Let me give you a preview here of actually how it's going to be. Dorkel's going to sit up here after I get the other piece of plywood in here, which I cut earlier in the video if you've been watching it. And the bottom is going to be flat because I need a good flat surface, but I'll probably have padding here, so I'll have a bubble ass if I can get the pants to fit on there properly. Now, this is really as far as his legs are going to go, so he's not going to be able to stand, but not a problem as long as he can sit. And I could make the legs longer. All I got to do is just put a coupling in there, which I'll have to go out and get at Home Depot, but that's not a problem. The problem is the glue. I don't have the glue, so I I just screw them together, but that's not a problem. We can, don't cost that much. Now this is it. I've sliced this a little, so this is metal here, so we can't go up any higher than this. You know, this is metal here. I do need reinforcement. I can't cut everything out. So as you're looking at the back here, the belt line and the weight is right here, and the rest of this is all ass.